Because if you didn't, you wouldn't.
This is Uncle John's job. And people. That's what Uncle John used to do all the time. Hold the kids as I was running around doing things around the house. He loved it. Again, I'm trying to slow down my life. I'm slowing down my life for little Leah May. She got her shots, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. So she's not really feeling that great. Now, we don't want to put her in the playpen. She's already been in the playpen. You heard her earlier. Video's converting. Right? I'm just sitting here enjoying my little granddaughter. Right? Telling my mind, just relax. See how relaxed she is? She doesn't want to move. She was hugging me earlier. Yeah. See, I'm feeling that shot. I don't...
You had your pop now?
Feel very good right now. She's not even happy. She's not even her happy little self. Oh, poor baby.
Now your pop fell out of the fridge.
My pop fell out of the fridge. She's just being a little cup bug. She just wants to be cuddled. I said she got her shots last week. It's starting to kick in with her. Oh, baby. Just being a little cuddle bugs. Just being a little cuddle bugs. Just being a little cuddle bugs. Oh, people, I'm tired. Just being a little cuddle bugs. I don't think I'm going to make it out in the yard today. I still have to do those big pots and everything. I'm going to start putting some stuff away. And I see I'm too tired to cook now. We'll see. Okay. Still the same day. It is June 5th. It's 8 o'clock at night now. I just washed these people. I've decided to keep them. I'm going to blanch the leaves. The stems take a little longer to process. As you can see, this oxidizes with the air, right? But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off the leaves, and then I'm going to slice them, and then I'm going to blanch them. I'm going to blanch, half cook them. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to let them drain, and then I'm going to break them up into sections, and I'm going to freeze them, and I'm going to cook with these things, right? Because the Koreans, they ate it, and they were old, and they said they were vegetarian, so I don't know. Like, it worked for them, and, spinach is expensive, right? So this is almost equal to a spinach. Almost. I could mix it in with spinach. I could mix it in with kale, or I could... So, hold on. Okay. Doesn't this seem familiar, people? Oh. I kind of do it to myself. You have to admit that, right? But, I can't, if... I don't know. If you have it, you're more apt to use it, right? You know what I mean? And it's not like it's a bad thing. I don't think I should cut these first before I don't know. I'm just taking off the stems right now. I don't know how I should do this. Because it's this one here, it browns to the air, right? It doesn't like to be injured. But you make a soy sauce base. You see, this is, you take it, right, and then you just go, well, you can't see, but you just do it, and, like, this is the way I'm going to do it, do you see? And then you just throw it all into the pot, and then you cook it. I'm not cooking it all the way through. I just want to kind of blanch it, and then I'm just going to drain it into the sink and run cold water over it. The stems take a little longer to do, like the stem here. What you have to do is you have to take the, you see, this is where I'm stuck doing everything by myself, right? Do you see? You have to pull. I guess it's stringy. I don't know. I think tomorrow I'm going to try and cook some up with the outer skin on it just to see. I think these small ones, these little thin ones would probably be okay. Like here's a real small one, right? I don't think you have to do that. But the longer ones, you know, they get more stocky. It smells, it has a strong smell. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's almost like it's, how do you say it? Like with an orange, not an orange, but like a citrus, right? A citrus. It's not a citrus, but it's getting up into the citrus family. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway. And then after I'm done this, because I was out in the yard over there, and I'm stocking up on dandelion roots. Of course, I got some more, so I'm going to chop them up and get them in the dehydrator with those onions, and I'll probably end up doing that tonight because I'm short on time here, people. Right? But this stuff grows like crazy. The landlord over there was out there mowing it down, but within 2 weeks it will be back. Right? I'm weeding out a lot of it because it spreads like crazy, right? But we'll leave a patch anyway, right? But it's been out of control for like 3 years. So the patch is big. Right? So this is free food. And I bet you it's good for Amari because the Koreans, they ate it all the time. They liked it. They couldn't wait to harvest this stuff. So, but, you know, I usually get distracted. I have some of this still in the freezer somewhere. Right? This will be a new batch, but I'm going to give this to Amari, and I'm going to eat it too, people. Right? I'm not going to give Amari anything that I won't eat. So I'll make sure that whatever I do with it, I'm eating it too, and hopefully we can get Andre to eat it, since I'm cooking it more, right? Because this is nice. There's nothing wrong with it. It works for us, right? And then every now and then I can throw spinach in or beet leaves. I like beet leaves. Alright, I'm planting beets, quite a few beets around the yards, more than one now, right? So, you know, everybody will get a little bit of beet, right? As long as I get my beets, I'm happy. I had 2 full trays, three full trays, right? And I've got a little beet, I've got actually 2 sections with beets in my yard right now. And then I'm going to do one more section. So it's nothing fancy here. You can see what I'm doing. This one isn't even folded up. Better to do it. I washed everything, but it looks like I maybe missed something there. This is, it's denser. It's denser. It's denser than a spinach. It's not, it's different than a kale. Alright. I'm working fast. Trying to anyway. All day. Well, not so much out, well, yeah, all day. Doesn't matter. Alright. Tisha is still overfeeding Amari too much. She gave him, I'm trying to like tell her like smaller portions, We're still trying to figure out what these smaller portions are. But that pineapple that I did when I made that juice, right? It was in a little container, and she ended up giving it all to him. So I don't know. He had another bowel movement today, but it was just as bad as the last one. So I don't know if that's the pasta coming out. Like, I'm telling you people. So more greens. He ate the spinach. I don't know if Tisha put a little bit of blueberry in with it, because I told her to put just a little bit of blueberry, right? I'm gonna mash up the blueberry and mix it in with the blueberry. I think she did that with the spinach. I mean, he ate it, so that's good. That's good. You know. But again, it goes into that my life has to slow down. I mean, it's one thing prepping. I mean, you go back into my videos, I'm always prepping, but I'm not necessarily cooking it up. I mean, I have to. More so now with Amari, because it has to be special foods, right? So, we'll try this out, and if this works, well, then that will be good. Because it's readily available. Right? Okay, so I will come back with what else I'm doing. Hold on. Okay, so it's pretty. I'm not pushing real hard, but that's a pretty full. It's like it's a pretty solid leaf. Like it doesn't tear that easy. Well, you know. Oops, sorry. Right. So now I'm just going to add a bit more water in here, not too much. I already had just a little bit, right? And I'm just going to start boiling it and steam it for a bit and strain it. Hold on. Okay. So as I was, getting the ground ready, right? This plant, when it grows, it looks like marijuana. People are like, what is that? Because it gets tall and it just spreads out, right? So anyway, what it is it's something that you can make a tea with, right? I have some in a jar. I have never had the tea yet. I dried some last year, and the tea is good for your chest. That's why I bring it, right? Because, right? And so anyway, but I'm addicted to cheap tea with sugar, people, and milk. That's my problem. Right? So obviously I'm digging through the ground and I'm coming across dandelions. Right? Never grew up eating dandelions. Don't plan on eating dandelion leaves at this point. But I might try dandelion root tea. So I already have a jar full, and since I'm coming across them, only because I'm coming across them, and they have properties in them that are good for you, so I'm going to process that. This you hang up, right? You hang up and you let it dry. So I will break them into 2 separate batches so that they can breathe, and then I just tie them and I hang them upside down and I let them dry. So hold on. Okay, so now is June 8th. I come to get some of this comfrey here, people, and the clovers, okay? But I want to point something out here. I want to show you how sneaky these guys are. So we know they wiped out over 100 trees just with what I counted within the property line of the fence. Okay? But we didn't count the ones that were on the inside of these properties. Not to mention what was on the outside down in here, because they cut those ones too. But if you look on the fence line here, people, the trees on the other side of the fence, they're gone. They took out a lot of trees here. This was all trees, people. They took it out. Same thing with on this property. Now, I did count those ones, but they ended up going down and cutting even more, right? And then, of course, they went in here and they took out those, but they jumped over the fence when nobody was looking, and they cut down the fucking trees there too. Hold on. Okay. So now I'm up by the clover patch, as you can see. Right, it's all over in here. I dug some up. I'm going to put some in my yard. And then, I kind of want to make a little recipe book, people. Right? But as if I have time, right? As if I have time. Clover you have to be careful with. It's a hormone of some kind. Right? It's good for men for their prostate though. Right? And of course, this is whipping the pan around. This is red clover. But there's different types. There's some here, so I'll scoop up on some of these. These ones are white. Right? So I'll grab some of those in terms of the roots and everything. And just take them up off the gravel. I noticed they like gravelly dirt. And Sierra just happens to be bringing me all this gravel right now, people. So I'm going to take some of that gravel and I'm going to incorporate it into my yard and get these things growing. So, because next year this field won't be here. This is a nice little patch right here. All right. I can crop these pictures and put them in my cookbook. Right. There's another one. So anyway, see, that's a nice little one right there. Hold on. Anyway, I'm having a smoke, and as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, people, you see these homes, right? Now, when you go into the Vancouver area, and it's older, right? You know, you see a lot of houses are very close together. And anyway, over the course of the last 5-7 years, those houses have like astronomically increased in price, where the only people that can afford to buy it are the ones that are running fentanyl through this province, basically. That is the purpose of those things being sold, is to launder dirty money. So in the meantime, the building that they're going to build here, within 20 years, 30 years, it's going to be slum buildings, people. Is that when the government's going to buy them and put what is remaining in terms of poor people to house them? Because they will become the next generation of slum buildings. Just to, I don't know, people, like, I don't, like, if this is what I'm trying to say. If they're selling old bungalows for $2 million, 2.2, and not even last year, I was talking about, what, 1.5 million, right? So it's jumped up like 500 million in less than a year, or within a year, however you want to roll the dice. Well, the people that are building the monster homes with new everything, right? But you have to remember, they don't have copper pipes. They have plastic piping. And plastic piping is not reliable, people. Trust me. So, if they can't get $2 million for their brand new home, because it's more profitable for the buyers of homes to buy these old bungalows for $2 million now, knowing that they can rip them down and build monster homes, thinking they're going to flip a profit. So if we fast forward in 10 years from now, this is what I'm trying to say. That house over there, which if you were to go look it up, if it was for sale, would probably sell less than the old bungalow next to it, because there's nothing they can do with that building at this point other than pay the mortgage. Whereas if they get the house next to it, they can make plans to tear it down and da-dee-dee-da-da-da, as in, you know, and then, so fast forward 10, 15, 20 years from now, if these things are selling at 1.5, the next one is a bungalow selling for $2 million. Okay, and this is what, 2019? And this has all happened in a very short period of time because of white-collar criminal activity and corruption within our governing bodies and public union sector, because that's where it stems from, right? You can't take out organs in a butcher shop, people. That can only be done in a facility that is equipped for that, which would be hospitals. So in the meantime, the old people are being flushed out of their houses because these things are popping up. Land assemblies are being formed with unscrupulous realtors and buyers and city councillors, to the point where somebody that's on a pension sitting up in this little house just wants to live out their years. Sooner or later, their taxes are going to be so high because of what they've done here, because of what they've done there, what they're done there, what happened. You can see what happened to the little house over there. It's not a little house no more, right? You understand? But you add now age to this, okay? You add 20, 30, 40 years. What do you think this is going to be? You think, what, these houses are going to sell for $10 million in 20 years from now? $10 million? $15 million? Is that the projection of the economy? As, you know, like the weather has been like, for the last 2 weeks, even before that, people, like hardly any sun, lots of, a fair amount of rain, and cold. It's been cold, right? So, but up in the interior, you know, things are starting to burn. And it's not even June yet. We haven't gotten into July. We haven't gotten into August. We haven't gotten into September. So, if this thing is selling below 2 million, but the one next to it is selling more than 2 million, add on 20 years, so what? This one's going to sell for 15 million, well, the next one to it will be 18 million. Like, who lives here? As this building that's now empty of all the old people that it was glamorized with, in terms of, oh, look how we're serving the community, right? And they're all dead and gone. Assets freaking, dispersed. And it's just going to be a slum building full of cockroaches with low-income people that can't afford the rent. Because it will be rent gouging, just like they're rent gouging now with the apartment buildings. I'm looking at an apartment building that I lived in 2008, and I came in on a 3-bedroom at $800, and then I lived there for 28 months, and every year they increased it by the allowable amount, whatever that was, $40, extra. So by the time I left, it was like pushing $900, and I couldn't justify paying $900 and being fucking harassed to live in a 3-bedroom apartment that was full of fucking cockroaches and bed bugs. So, because that's how old the building was, right? So it's not even about, this is all hearsay. No, these buildings are going to get old, and they're going to get run down, and they're going to be full of fucking cockroaches. So in the meantime, that was in 2008 when I moved into that building, 2007, and then I moved out in 2009. Now we're into 2019, and they want like $1,500 for my suite that I was paying $800 for when I first moved in. Right? Like, where are people going with this? Like, you cannot raise a family living in a 3-bedroom apartment full of fucking cockroaches and freaking bed bugs, paying $1,500 a month as an entry. And because it's an apartment, what happens is every year they play by the books, and they're raising it to the maximum dollar amount. And then when the economy gets, thrown out of whack like it's done right now, then they start the reno evicting, and they're kicking out people so they can come in and put $400, $500, $600 in changing the carpet and putting in, wood tiles, which is worse for freaking bed bugs, but, that's not the point, right? And then they raise the rent by like $300, $400. It's like, I don't understand what people are thinking. Like, don't they see, like, honest to God, don't they see that they're just creating the future slums of the countries from where these people come to build in our country, because they've already created slums in their country. And that's pretty much what it fucking boils down to. As people like me and my family, my targeted family, that don't fit with the social norm in terms of, I'm not a Sikh, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a a fucking Catholic. You know, I'm just me with my family, born in a country that I'm being pushed out of, people. That in 20 years from now, this whole area will become the new fucking slums of Surrey. And that's assuming that they keep the name Surrey, because by the time it catches up to them, all these MLAs and these freaking city councilors, they'll be sitting high on the horse with their pension plans, because that's the whole purpose behind what's going on. But you know what? They're going to look back and they reflect, and they're going to be embarrassed, because they might even change the name of this city. Serious, honest to God. Like, honest to fucking God. This is like pathetic. I can't believe what's going on. And to me, it's as plain as day, because I'm the one sitting in the bush, if you notice that. Not because I'm forced to sit here. I'm trying to be productive with what nature provided, as the people around me are completely destroying everything in their freaking path. And do you know what breeds corruption? This is where I'm at. Aren't those cute? I'm going to grab some of these too. Put them in my... Anyway, do you know what breeds corruption, people? Corruption. Because greed gets in the way of it. Right? In these countries from where people migrate from, because they're trying to get away from corruption. Corruption within the government, corruption within their policing agencies, corruption with the gangs that are, you know, controlling the streets as they're paying off the cops. You know, it's never ending, really. But the thing is, the more people on a mission to be self-centered, I guess you could say, and in terms of it's a me world, me, and I'm not promoting this so-called socialism or communism, but maybe more like social responsibility towards your neighbor, right? In terms of a civil society. So, the denser this area gets, and as time erodes the glamour behind of what they're trying to sell to the public, as the backroom dealers are getting rich off of the corruption, right? Because my story will be long and forgotten. Shemaine's story will be long and forgotten. Andre's story will be long and forgotten. Sierra's story will be long and forgotten. Uncle John's story will be long and forgotten. You get the picture, right? And a whole lot of other stories will be long and forgotten. And what will remain are the remnants of that corruption entrenching itself into the west coast of British Columbia, Canada. Right? Where it's gonna be deeper. I mean, don't be surprised if in 20 or 30 years from now, at the rate that we're going, you know, people are going to be born just to be designated to have their organs removed, because the ones that are going to be controlling the corruption will have another 20 years to set the precedence. And it's already happening. We just don't see it because of how these files are being filed within our public service sector departments, in terms of, you know, you want your medical files and you have to jump through 50,000 hoops just to get what is rightfully yours, and which is all another form of corruption. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, the corruption is already out here, people. Add on another 20 years, 30, 40 years with condensed living with everybody in a rat race. The corruption is going to be multiplied by 1,000 times. And for all these people that are coming in from Honduras and Cuba and Venezuela and freaking Africa and India and China and the Philippines and the Cambodian and so, you know, like, it's just like... You're bringing your corruption with you, man. Okay, so now I'm in these ones, they're white. And it's very sweet smelling over here, people. But if you notice, there's no bees. They're tearing down the wild habitat environments for the wild bees. Okay. There's like hardly any bees, people. It's been like that all year. Do you see any bees? I don't see any. It's because there isn't any. Right? For some reason they're not out this year. Too many wild bees. Their homes are being destroyed as this building of houses is occurring. So they're killing off the wild bee population. It's still a little early for the honeybees. Honeybees like to come out in full force in July and August. But even still, there should be honeybees. Do you see any bees, people? I don't see no hornets. I don't see no bees. I don't see nothing. Do you see anything? There's nothing around me. Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is not a good sign, people. And these are sweet because I can smell them. The white ones are stronger, it seems, than the purple ones. So I'm just doing one batch right now. But as I'm sitting here, I'm quite lonely because there should be bees around me. And there is none. And there's hardly any bees in my yard. I've seen one or two wild bees struggling in my stuff, in the, along the walls. Maybe they're trying to make a nest in there. I don't know. This is what I got so far. I don't know. All I know is that there's hardly any wild bees. Wild bees should be out in full force right now. Right? Nothing. Nothing, people. The skies are gray. The weather is cold. There are no bees. They're tearing down tree after tree after tree. I already provided a link with 50,000 trees being torn down in one, that's just in one particular area. Well, sorry, no, 5,000 trees tore down in one particular area, which no matter how much the people protest, it won't change anything. Because I told you, there's corruption out here. The corruption is just going to get rooted more and more and more. Instead of MS-13, we're going to have MS-25. That's where we're heading, people. If you want to relate it to something in terms of correlation, right? Because that's pretty much what it boils down to out here. The people that want to intimidate other people or pay them off or whatever it is that these people do, I mean, doesn't make any sense to me. All thinking they're going to take it with them. Where are they taking it? Do you see any bees? I don't see no bees. Nowhere. Not one. Not one. And I've been out here for almost an hour, which means I have to go home. Because Uncle Marcane's watching Amari and Andre's helping. And then I'm going to go home and probably put these in a dehydrator. Because they should be leveled, or at least put them on a tray. Right? And these are sweet, people. They have lots and lots of nectar. Trust me, I can smell it. I can smell it. The white ones especially. No bees. Absolutely none. Do you see any? I don't see any. What is this plant? I don't know. No bees, people. None. Do you see any? Oh, there's one. It's a wild one. One. Where is he? Can't see, people. Where is he? Where is he? He's got his wings up. Oh my God, my glasses are so bad. Let's just see. See a picture of this one bee. Where is he? One. Just one. Like I said, I have like one or two in my yard. Normally these ones, these wild bees, they make nests of 50. Their colony will be 50. And they're wild bees. I used to take those kind of bees, put them in my hand when I was a kid, and shake them up and let them go, and they wouldn't sting me. Right? Those little wild bees. They require a certain kind of environment in order to make their nests. But if you notice, that's just one out of all these flowers. And that's the way it is in my yard too. Just one or two. Look who's keeping me company now. My battery is running low. But this little dragonfly, it followed me here. And then he waited while I went to go get the other bucket. And he's still there. Sorry about my hand moving. Yeah. One little dragonfly. You gonna come to my yard and visit me in the yard? Where are you? There you are. Let's get your markings. Huh? There he goes. He's just hovering around me. He's not going very far. He's playing with me. He's just over there. He'll come back. Where did he go? He's hiding. Playing with me. Saying, come on, let's go. Hurry up. Okay, so I'm going to finish this video like this. This is mint, people. So, smells really good. Remember I told you I was going to do something with some beets? So anyway, I just got back. There are some. I'm going to get more. Right? Because you can use the broth, right? After you steep it for a while, the liquid for your hair to help stimulate hair growth. Because my hair is very fine. So, and I'm really rough with my hair, right? So I'll use that as a hair rinse once in a while for myself, as well as once in a while I'm going to see if I can get my son to drink a cup. Because he's a man and it's good for prostate. And not Tisha because she's nursing. But for myself once in a while. So anyway, I'm going to make something here. I'm going to shred these. I'm going to boil them first, and then after I'm going to shred them. And just make a little beet salad or something. But I'm also going to give to Amari, right? And that is turnip. So I'm going to end this video on this. It started off with Amari's little dinner last night. You can see it. He ate it all. And now I'm getting, I'm trying to be creative here. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to boil them as is. After I'm going to shred them. And then I'm going to chop up some fine mint. And then, season it with either vinegar and that type of thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to do hot or cold, maybe both. Can obviously add mitsu, just a tad, to offset the mint. I don't know. We'll be back.